WIP for the week, and then I actually have a bunch of days off. And I feel I'm going to need Thursday off. I would ask my producer, but I'm pretty sure I didn't know the answer to it. Wow, what the hell, I'll ask him anyway. TB, I know you and I discussed this, but I think you told me you were looking into it. Maybe it was Mike. I get you guys confused. That's my fault.
We look pretty similar.
Not on a bet do you two look similar.
On the radio, we do.
Good line. Have you gotten a COVID shot yet?
I got my first one.
You did? Okay.
Yes.
That's what I thought. You at the convention center?
Yeah, I got it at the convention center 2 Saturdays ago.
Right. See, I did remember that. Okay, I'm not as addled as I thought I was. But when are you scheduled to go for your second one?
April 3rd, so the day before Easter.
Oh, okay. Get it in on a Saturday. That's all right. Feel free to take it easy on Easter because I've got a bunch of buds, bunch of people I know, family members, friends, associates, that have had the 2 shots already, including Kevin Cooney, who was on me last night, who got his second one just recently, and he confirmed. Yeah, the second one kind of wipes you out, and it's certainly an individual thing, and I'm not going to make any wide sweeping blanket statements, but with a lot of people that I've talked to, first shot, no issues, no problems, no reaction whatsoever, but the second shot can have a bit of an effect on just your overall feeling of health. Kind of wipes you out. I've got a example right here in my house. My wife has already gotten her second shot, and the day after she got the shot, she was on the couch all day long. She just wasn't moving, wasn't doing anything. I made dinner that night, which is not usually a good thing. She just wasn't up to doing anything. By the day after, she was still a little under the weather, but certainly feeling better, up and around and about. And by 2 days afterwards, she was perfectly fine. I get my second COVID shot tomorrow. The first one, it didn't even bother me. Like, when my wife got her first shot, she couldn't raise her arm that first day. Did you have that issue? Did your arm bother you at all after your first shot?
Yeah, it was a little sore.
Yeah, see, I didn't even have that. I didn't even realize that they gave it to me when they gave it to me because I'm a chick and I looked the other way. I didn't even feel a pinch. And it didn't bother me at all. So I'm hoping maybe it just doesn't have that kind of effect on me. But I'm worried that Thursday I'm going to be completely useless, which my wife gets and has already told me, yeah, you're not doing anything on Thursday. You're just sitting around the house. I'm looking forward to a true day off. I don't even know if I'll be in front of the computer. I think I'll be on the couch prone watching spring training baseball on Thursday afternoon. Who knows? But that's on Thursday, so you need to make the most of it tonight because I'm here for the next 3+ hours, and then you won't get me again till next week. So get on my phone lines, 215-592-9494. Dave from Chestnut Hill, going to be up first tonight. Hello, Dave.
Hey, how are you, Jody? Good evening. I hope your second COVID shot goes well.
Thank you, sir.
I tested positive for it 9 months ago, but I'm still having a shot this Friday.
Okay, is this your first or second, or are you getting the one from Johnson?
It'll be my first, so that works out as having worked for whom I work for. It'll be done at a government site, so
okay.
It is what it is. Anyway, calling for 3 reasons. First, let me get my Victor Hovland thing on the table. Victor, who I got at 55-1, went to 12-1. Now he's 27-1 to win the Masters.
Right. He got hot there for a while, didn't win, but was right there. A couple good tournaments in a row. Last couple of weeks, not so much, so that's why it's gone back up to 27. Yeah, you got value at 55-1.
I got great value. You know what? I would hope that I ever again in my lifetime get value like that.
Okay.
I'm going to comment about our new quarterback in Philadelphia.
Yes, Mr. Flacco.
I think it's a good buy. I think that's probably the going rate, though, at $5 million. And you know what? It clearly makes a statement what the Eagles are going to do. They're not going to draft a quarterback.
That's the way I look at it, too. I think this signifies. And I realized that just a couple of years ago, 5 to be exact, when they moved up twice in the draft to get Carson Wentz, they already had Sam Bradford as their starter. They had given Chase Daniels above market backup money and still went out and drafted Carson Wentz. So the Eagles have a track record of doing this, but I don't think history repeats itself. I absolutely believe that the Eagles will not be taking a quarterback quarterback in the draft until at the earliest day 3, rounds 5, 6, 7, somewhere there.
They pay Chase Daniels $9 million a year.
Yeah, ridiculous. So,
well, thanks for your time, Jody. Have a good evening. God bless.
You got it, bud. Dave tipped me to Victor Hovland that he liked him a lot. Coming into this year, before we ever got close to the Masters, and now we're only a couple weeks away, he's right. 55 to 1 is great value. But here's the thing about those future bets, and believe me, when I talk about it, I'm talking about it from experience. Sometimes in golf, but more so with horse racing. The horse that I liked back in, January, maybe February, to win the Kentucky Derby was a horse by the name of Mandaloon. I had trainer Brad Cox on my CBS National show a couple weeks ago. He's got the top 3-year-old, the 2-year-old champion who has since come out and won his stakes debut this year as a 3-year-old Essential Quality, is probably right now considered the Kentucky Derby pre-race favorite. But he's had another horse named Mandaloon that I liked a lot and thought was really impressive and is very well bred, and I had seen him run some very impressive races. And I got him in the Kentucky Derby future book at 110 to 1. After he won a major prep, he was down into the 20s. So he came down from 110 to 22 to 1. He since got beat over the weekend, and now I'm not feeling near as good about my chances. I still feel great about the value, but if you don't win, then value doesn't really mean anything. You don't feel as bad when you lose, but it doesn't get you any excitement unless you actually win. Gary from Whitehall's up on 94 WIP. Yo, Gary.
Hey, good evening, Jody. How are you?
Good, buddy.
Thanks for taking my call. Yes, I'm in on the Flacco. I really like the value. He brings experience. He may be good influence on Jalen Hurts. He's a young man at the beginning. I don't think there's going to be a competition.
Nope.
And I like the fact that there may be a sign that they don't draft a quarterback.
You know my thoughts on that. My opinion on the quarterback in the draft hasn't changed. If Justin Fields is there at number 6, talk about that. I think he's easily the second best player in the draft, and I think there's less of a difference between he and Trevor Lawrence at number 1 than there is between he and whoever you rank as the third best quarterback. That's how high a fan of Justin Fields I am. If he somehow falls down to 6 and the Eagles don't take him, you can be rest assured I'll be talking about it here on WIP. The Eagles' missed opportunity for the next 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years because I like the kid as a player that much. If Fields is off the board, then I don't have a problem with the Eagles not taking a quarterback because I don't know that there is another guy out of the Trey Lances and the Utah, who am I forgetting?
You'd be willing to move back.
Wilson, Zach Wilson, and Mac Jones. I actually like Mac Jones better than I like Wilson. So the only quarterback I want to see the Eagles take with a first-round pick is Justin Fields.
No, if he's not there, would you be willing to move back?
No, probably not, because you're going to have your choice of a major offensive weapon, either Devonta Smith or Jamar Chase or Pitt's tight end from Florida. I would love to add a talent like that.
Working from the gun, Garoppolo. And that is incomplete. Oh, he had a defender right there with him to force that to the ground. And 4th down now coming up.
As this old brain remembers, when I see 5 wide receivers on the field as a defender, I know the ball's coming out high. They expected it and got there and popped it free.
So on 4th
A second pitch third, but they're all that good and all that close that I'll take any of the 3.
That's what I was looking at too, Jody. Just by moving back 1 or 2 spots, you can gain the second-round pick out of the deal, which they know as well as I do. They need help at what they can get, and you still be able to get one of those 3 guys.
Right, but you need to have everything go right for you, and for that to go right, you need 4 quarterbacks to go in the first 5 picks, which could happen. Maybe a Sewell goes up there that high. I don't think any defender, the linebacker from Penn State or Surtain, the corner from Alabama, I don't think they're going in the top 5. But you need to have a run on the quarterbacks ahead of you for you to get lucky enough that all 3 of those pass catches would be available.
Yeah, I think that's going to happen because I know Carolina's eager for a quarterback, and I think they're going to trade with Miami.
Well, if they do move up, then we don't even have whether they're going to take the quarterback or not, because if 4 of them are off the board, I think the one that most likely that will still be sitting there is Mac Jones of Alabama, who I like a lot. As a matter of fact, I think Joe Flacco could be a really good mentor to him, because Flacco has always been a pocket passer, stay-at-home quarterback, not an athletic, and Mac Jones isn't either. Tom Brady isn't either, and he's the greatest quarterback of all time. So those who say, oh, you have to have a 2021 quarterback, he's got to be able to make plays with his legs. No, he doesn't. If you get the right offense and the right coach and the talent in the pocket, you can absolutely win and win big with a pocket quarterback still today.
You're absolutely correct. I like Mac Jones a lot, too. One quick Phillies thing. What's your prediction?
On what, the overall number of wins this upcoming season?
Overall wins and maybe, I don't know, any last-minute moves, any changes or things?
Yeah, no, they're not making any last-minute moves. For those who thought, and he had a nice spring training, and I'm happy for the kid. Those that were putting forth that Mickey Moniak could be the Phillies opening day center fielder. Not happening. He was officially sent out today. He had a good spring, and that's a good sign. Now he goes down to AAA and gets 4 or 5 bats every single day. Shoot, go down there and hit 375. If Kingery's struggling and Odubel isn't getting it done, maybe Hazley's here, maybe Hazley's not. He could be back up here and be the starting center fielder by May 15th. But he does need a little more seasoning, so I was actually glad to see that they made the decision with time to spare to let the kid wrap his head around the fact that he needs to rededicate himself when he goes back down to the minors. I don't think there are any major moves coming up. I don't think there are any surprises on the roster. I think we know who's coming north, and I think it's a good team. I think it's a better team than last year's team, but I don't know that I can come up with a scenario where they're going to finish out of a team like the Braves, who are just scary good as far as I'm concerned. So I guess they have a shot as a wild card to get second place in the division, but I don't think they're getting first. Appreciate the call. Thanks for checking.
Thank you, Jody.
Jody Mac here with you on 94 WIP. I mentioned John McMullen, Philly Voice SI, Eagle Insider. He will join us at the top of next hour at 11 o'clock. Bill Matz, Mr. Hockey from Broad Street Hockey. And then, time permitting, and it might have something to do with how quickly this ongoing Sixers-Warrior game plays itself out. Kurt Heelan is the managing editor of NBA writers on NBCSports.com. I've had Kurt on my national show a bunch of times. Real good NBA insider. With the trade deadline coming up, and he's a San Francisco guy, so I know he's watching Warriors and Sixers. I want to ask him about the Sixers. It's nice to get a out-of-towner's perspective every once in a while on your hometown team. So Kurt Heelan is scheduled to join me at 1 o'clock in the morning. That's 10 o'clock his time out west. But we'll probably hold off. The Sixer game isn't done yet. We shall see. But hopefully I get him up sometime in the 1 o'clock hour. I'm hoping you're a member of the hometown team. That means in getting your extra action in on the big dance, do so with the Parks Casino Sportsbook app. If you're jumping in for the first time during the tournament, we've gotten down to the Sweet 16. Great offer for you new customers. If you've never been a Parks Sportsbook user before, sign up now for the first time. Get a free $50 sports bet with no deposit required. They're basically handing you $50 and say, here, have some fun. See if you can double it. See if you can triple this. It's a phenomenal offer. Right now, besides the games, they've still got some good futures going on with the tournament. Gonzaga opened up at plus 205. They're now down to plus 155. Baylor is 3-1 to win it all. Nova was 40-1 opening the tournament. I told you they were worth a flyer. Now down to 25-1. NBA, NHL, any action you want is available on the Parks Casino Sportsbook app. Download the app or go to parkscasino.com/PA. Use promo code JodyMac. Just type in my name, and for you new customers, take advantage of that free $50 sports bet with no deposit required. Now's the time to join the hometown team when it comes to wagering and winning. The Parks Casino Sportsbook app.
Must be 21 and in Pennsylvania. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Phillies spring training. Thursday, Phillies, Yankees. First pitch is at 6:05. Only on your home for Phillies baseball.
It is gone!
Sports Radio 94 WIP.
This year's college basketball tournament is down to 16 teams. Did your bracket get completely busted? Are you ready for a redo? It's time to press the reset button on the $1 Million Bracket Challenge presented by Geico. Sign up today at radio.com/brackets and fill out a brand new 16-team bracket for a shot at $5,000. You can totally forget those first two rounds and start fresh because this is a completely new game. $5,000 up for grabs with the $1 Million Bracket Challenge presented by Geico. Another chance at bracket glory awaits. So sign up now at radio.com/brackets. That's radio.com/brackets. I can't believe it. I know. Three-pointer, almost a full court away, right at the buzzer. Amazing. I've never seen anything like it. No, I can't believe how easy it was to save hundreds of dollars on my car insurance with Geico.
Believe it. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Geico, proud partner of March Madness.
The non-stop action of tennis takes center court at Sugar House Sportsbook. Sugar House serves up an exciting tennis betting experience like no other, with a massive number of live in-game betting options, including point-by-point betting. But don't just bet on the game live. Watch it live. Sugar House Sportsbook live streams a huge number of tour events from around the world throughout the tennis season. Try it today, and Sugar House will match your first deposit up to $250. It's a winner. Bet on tennis at Sugar House Sportsbook. Go now to playsugarhouse.com. Must be 21 over to play. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
I've got cancer, but I'm part of a clinical trial that can lead to new breakthroughs.
If you or a loved one has cancer, you need New Jersey's only comprehensive cancer center, designated by the National Cancer Institute.
I've got cancer, but I've also got hope.
We've taken extra precautions to ensure the most advanced cancer care in the safest environment. Learn more at rwjbh.org/beatcancer. RWJ Barnabas Health and Rutgers Cancer Institute of New Jersey. Let's beat cancer together.
The tournament is in full swing, and DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook app, is putting new customers in the center of action. Bet $1 on any tournament game, and if your team wins, you win $100. It's that simple. Download the top-rated DraftKings Sportsbook app and sign up using code RADIO. That's code RADIO. For a limited time, only at DraftKings Sportsbook. Must be 21 or older. New Jersey only. New customers only. Restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Hey, this is JJ Redick. Whether it's after a tough workout or a game, there's nothing like a long, hot shower to help my body refresh, and a huge part of that process is the body wash that I use. That's why you should use the new Dove Men plant-based body wash. It uses plant-based cleansers and moisturizers to keep your skin healthy and hydrated. Eucalyptus oil and cedar, lime and avocado oil, and charcoal and clove. Relax your body and mind with the new Dove Men plant-based body wash.
Experience the Dove Men Plus Care plant-based line for yourself. Buy it now at Walmart and Target.
Hey, I just got a text from my sister. You remember Rick, her neighbor?
Sure. He's the 76-year-old guy who still runs marathons, right?
Sadly, not anymore.
Wow. So sudden. We're not about to have the we need life insurance conversation again, are we?
No, we're having the we're getting coverage so we don't have to worry about it conversation.
Is it time for you to call about the 995 plan? If you're age 50 to 85, you can get guaranteed acceptance whole life insurance starting at just $9.95 a month. There are no health questions, so you can't be turned down for any health reason. Options start at just $9.95 a month. That's less than 35 cents a day.
Take the first easy step and don't wait. Learn more by visiting us at colonialpenn.com now. Colonialpenn.com. That's colonialpenn.com. Limited benefit first 2 years age experience. Some states. Plan is underwritten by Colonial Penn Life Insurance Company.
Family and Company Jewelers Veragio Bridal Show, March 22nd through the 27th. See the largest selection of Veragio rings in the area and save hundreds. Preview brand new styles and settings or have Veragio custom design a ring for you. Visit their showroom on Route 70 in Marlton, New Jersey, March 22nd through the 27th. The Veragio Bridal Show. Save big on the ring of her dreams. Visit FamilyJewelers.com for more info.
Family and Company Jewelers, South Jersey's diamond destination.
Where you are, we are.
Home and work.
Sports Radio 94 WIP.
I started the show tonight with a couple of uh-ohs. Flyers lose again, make it 3 in a row, first 3-game losing streak of the season to a below-average Devils team. Fell behind 4-1, just sloppiness, can't get the puck out of the zone. Carter Hart never comes up with a big save. They get 2 goals after they pull a goalie with 2 minutes left to play. Down 4-1, pull a goalie. Couturier scores twice. And they actually had a couple of legitimate shots in the last 45 seconds that the Devil goaltender Blackwell kept from going in the net. So if they had tied it up and somehow pulled it out, we'd be singing a different tune tonight. But they didn't, and they've now lost 3 in a row, so that was an uh-oh. Zach Wheeler did not pitch well in spring training tonight. Got racked around by the young Blue Jay lineup. The couple of veteran guys in the pen, Kinsler and Watson, also surrendered runs tonight. Guys who I think they're banking on this year. I don't think they're married to those non-roster invitees in the pen, but I was counting them in when they both got off to good starts this spring. And the Eagles signing Joe Flacco, not the signing of Joe Flacco itself. I think he'll do the job as a backup quarterback. And I talked to a friend tonight who covers the Jets, and I said, what was the word on Flacco as far as his relationship with Sam Darnold, playing the backup quarterback role and quote-unquote being a mentor? That can be overstated and overplayed, but you just have to be a good guy in the room, and you got to be able to work with the guy who's the starting quarterback, and they said Joe did a fine job there. So I don't think that'll be an issue with Jalen Hurts this year here in Philadelphia. My issue is they gave him $3 million. Why? They didn't need to. They should have had to. Last year he played for half that for the Jets. And they gave him $3.5 million this year with incentives to double that and take it to $7 million. It had to be that Joe Flacco's agent somehow suckered Howie Roseman into believing there was another team that was willing to give him that much. And he'd do it for the Eagles because he wants to come home. So even though I've got $4 or $5 million elsewhere on the table, if you put up 3.5 with incentives, I'll come sign with Philadelphia right now. I guess Howie Roseman got sucked in because I got no issues with Flacco being the backup quarterback. I just don't understand why the Eagles had to pay as much as they did. Well, we got a non-uh-oh so far. The first period has ended in Golden State, where the 76ers lead the Warriors 35-17. 17! They held the Warriors to 17 in the first quarter. Now, Seth Curry isn't playing tonight for Golden State. Well, Joel Embiid isn't playing for the 76ers, nor is Seth Curry playing for the Sixers. So the Sixers are down 2 key elements of their team, so you can't make that big a deal about Steph being out for the Warriors. But it looks like it is in the lineup and on the floor. 17 points in the first quarter. That's good Sixer defense. So we got one team that's not an uh-oh. I'll talk about any of them when you get on my telephone lines. Phone's pretty open here. 215-592-9494. Greg from Northeast Philly's up on 94 WIP. Yo, Greg.
Hey, thanks for having me on, Jody.
You got it, bud.
Hey, we talked actually a few nights ago, or I don't know how long ago, but I honestly feel like I'm repeating myself to you about the Flyers. It's the same over and over again. They can't break out of their zone. They can't keep the puck in the offensive zone. They need to go back to basics. Thump and chase. First guy hates the body. Second guy takes the man. You cycle the puck around. You create time and space. You look for the open man. You get open. You pass the puck. you shoot the puck, you crash the net, and you score a goal. It is not hard. I've played ice hockey for a very long time. Whatever they're doing is not working, and if they go back to what I just said they should do, I honestly believe that they can score a lot more goals and would have a lot more time of possession in the offensive zone.
Okay, you're right except for one thing. You described the offense when you've got the puck and you've got it in your zone, how you keep it there, how you make it work, how you control the puck in your own zone. That's different than getting the puck out of your own zone. And they're awful at that. They're terrible at that.
Oh, absolutely. That's the worst thing. They're breaking out their own zone. Their defense has been a mess all season. Breaking out all season has been a mess. So getting into the offensive zone, yes, is going to be a struggle. I'm just saying, once we get in there, if we can find a way to get in there, that is the way they need to play to produce. Now,
and here's my issue with this, and tell me if you agree or disagree. That's kind of more old school hockey, dump chase, physical, take a guy off the puck, make him pay a price in the corner, mucking and grinding. I get that. Is that this team? It's a philosophy, and it's one that has worked for a lot of teams in the NHL. It's one that's worked for the Flyers in previous incarnations. But the roster as it is currently put together, I don't think they're that type of team. They could do it, but I don't know they'd be anywhere near effective in it, because if you're not that type of player, just tell them this is what I want you to do isn't going to mean it's going to work.
Now, are you saying that because you don't think they're physical enough to play like that way? When I say, like, when you dump chase, like, first man take the body?
Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. How many guys on this team would you call physical of their forwards?
There's a few, and one of them just can't.
Few is not enough.
The only guy that actually plays with grit and toughness, like I said, is Limbaum, and he just beat cancer, so that's phenomenal to me.
Well, no, Couturier does.
No, I'm kind of exaggerating. There are other players.
Voracek, skill.
Hayes is playing great. Is playing good. There are players.
But he's not a tough guy either. See, that's the problem. Hayes, skilled player. Voracek, skill player. Drew, skill player. Connect, skill player. These guys dump and chase type guys.
Okay,
you can't play dump and chase with the lineup that they have right now.
Listen to me, ready? Whatever they're doing right now, obviously isn't working, hasn't worked all season. So why not at least, it can't hurt to try it. Throw it out there for a few shifts. If it doesn't work, fine. Then go back to losing by 4 or 5 goals. Whatever. You know?
All right. I appreciate I appreciate your attitude, because it sounds to me like you're attempting to help the Flyers out and get them back in their winning.
I want them to win. I don't want to be on the fifth seed, like on the outside looking in, and we're right there. We need these points. We need these wins. We need to be in 1 of 4 in the East to go.
Right, and they're on the outside looking in. Again, thanks for the call, Greg. I appreciate your attitude and the way you're looking at things, but you can't turn back the clock. I know that we've got some Flyer fans that remember, quote-unquote, the good old days. By the way, I think Greg sounds a little young to remember the Brunswick Bullies, but even the Lindros' teams that were good had a little bit more attitude and toughness to them. The NHL has changed, too. It's become a much less physical league than it used to be. So it isn't like the Flyers all of a sudden just chose to go soft. The league has changed. The way the game is refereed and played has changed. And you've got to be able to keep up with the trends in the league as they are. They're just not good at it enough right now. And you said they haven't been good enough all year. No, they're off to a good start. They absolutely were good enough at the beginning of the season. They've just gone backwards. That's the major issue with the Flyers, that they haven't been able to stay at the level that they were at. And here's the scary part, maybe even the worst news part. They really haven't had significant injuries. That's a bugaboo that everybody looks at in sports. Oh, the team, we were all beat up. We were missing this guy. We were missing that guy. Anytime a team's not doing what they were expected to do, oh, it has to be because injuries are curtailing them. The Flyers have been relatively healthy they have not had tremendous injury issues this year. If anything, the teams that are ahead of them in the standings have been without key players much more so than the Flyers have. That's bad news. I would love to be able to tell you that it's this player's fault, or this aspect of the game's fault, or it's the goaltender, or it's the coach, or shame on the general manager. He didn't put together enough talented roster at the beginning of this year. Oh, I could point at all of them right about now. Other than Couturier, because he was, and the funny part about it was, Couturier was out of the lineup for a good chunk of when they played significantly well this year. And I thought they needed Couturier back in the worst way. They got him back, and it really hasn't helped as much as I thought it would. They're not scoring enough goals. They're certainly not good enough on defense. Their forwards aren't doing a good enough job on the back check in their own zone, helping out the defense. The defense doesn't help itself, but the forwards aren't helping them. The goaltending, Carter Hart has been a mess, and Elliott has been the better of the two goalies, but do I think Elliott can get on a hot streak and carry them into the playoffs? I don't really believe that. Whatever Vigneault is trying to cook up, it's not working. And yes, we're still a while away from the trade deadline, but here's the problem in the NHL with the trade deadline. You gotta have something to trade. You have to have a piece that other teams want, and with the ways that the Flyers are playing right now, I don't know what viable commodities they have to entice someone to give you a player that can come here and help the orange and black. That's a scary proposition. All right, hour down, 3 left to play. We will get into the Eagles next. Joe Flacco, no issue with him being the backup quarterback. A little expensive for my tastes. Not exactly sure how he merits $3.5 million on a contract this year. I will put that question and several others on the birds to John McMullen from PhillyVoice.com and Sports Illustrated. He joins us next here on 94 WIP.
When buying or selling a home, reputation matters. Last year, the expert team at Berkshire Hathaway Home Services Fox and Road Realtors sold 4 times more homes than anyone in the Delaware Valley. More than 14,000 active buyers trust their team to look for their next home. Join the thousands that have used their services. Tour open houses now, in person or virtually, with Berkshire Hathaway Home Services Fox and Road Realtors. Everything you need at foxroad.com. Based on value sold by broker per the MLS.
One thing we've learned from all the uncertainties this year is just how valuable a college education really is. It's a way to future-proof your career. And that's why at Rider University, we're lifting barriers to make a college education more affordable than ever. Starting in fall 2021, our cost of tuition for new students will be reduced by 22%. Plus, we're investing in resources that support student outcomes and are doubling down on the experiences most likely to lead to career success. Learn more about our Lifting Barriers initiative at rider.edu. Explore what's possible.
If you're injured at work, the lawyers at Stern & Cohen provide free consultations to explain your rights during a difficult and uncertain time. They offer in-person and virtual meetings. The question is often asked, do I need a lawyer now? The answer is simple, yes. Whether your work injury claim was accepted or denied, call Stern & Cohen. You may be entitled to money for your lost wages or a lump sum cash settlement. Understand your rights. The call is free. 215-999-1443. SternCohenLaw.com.
This year's college basketball tournament is down to 16 teams. Did your bracket get completely busted? Are you ready for a redo? It's time to press the reset button on the $1 Million Bracket Challenge presented by Geico. Sign up today at radio.com/brackets and fill out a brand new 16-team bracket for a shot at $5,000. You can totally forget those first 2 rounds and start fresh because this is a completely new game. $5,000 up for grabs with the $1 Million Bracket Challenge presented by Geico. Another chance at bracket glory awaits. So sign up now at radio.com/brackets. That's radio.com/brackets.
I can't believe it.
I know. 3-pointer, almost a full court away, right at the buzzer. Amazing. I've never seen anything like it.
No, I can't believe how easy it was to save hundreds of dollars on my car insurance with Geico. Believe it. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Geico, proud partner of March Madness. Sugar House Sportsbook wants you to experience Rush Pay. When you want to cash out your winnings, you don't want to wait 2 days just to get the go-ahead to withdraw your money. That's why Sugar House created Rush Pay. With Rush Pay, 80% of withdrawal requests are approved instantly, meaning you'll get your money faster. Why wait? Get your cash when you want it. Bet with a winner. Bet with Sugar House Sportsbook at PlaySugarHouse.com or download the iOS app. Playable in New Jersey only. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
$9.95 at my age?
$9.95. No way.
$9.95? That's impossible.
If you're age 50 to 85, you can get life insurance.
Options starting at just $9.95.
Okay, I'm listening to you. Tell me more.
Just $9.95 a month for Colonial Penn's #1 most popular whole life insurance plan. There are no health questions, and there are no medical exams to take. Your acceptance is guaranteed. You can't be turned down because of your health. Guaranteed acceptance? And with this plan, your rate is locked in for your lifetime, so it will never go up. Perfect if you're on a fixed budget.
Sounds good to me.
Take the first easy step and don't wait. Learn more by visiting us at colonialpenn.com now. Colonialpenn.com. That's colonialpenn.com. Limited benefit first 2 years. Ages vary in some states. Plan is underwritten by Colonial Penn Life Insurance Company. Now at Winter Ford, purchase any new Ford and get complimentary 3-year maintenance plan. Lease a new 2020 Ford Escape for only $199 a month for 24 months. Lease a 2021 Ford Explorer for $269 a month for 24 months. Or lease a 2021 Ford F-150 for $335 a month for 39 months. Call 800-428-4000 for offer details. Visit in person or online 24/7 at winterford.com. Winter Ford. People you trust. Service and value you'll love.
94 WIP-HD1 Philadelphia, live from the TCA Studios, Philadelphia's sports leader and the home of the Phillies. Sports Radio 94, WIP, radio.com sports station.
Hour number 2 on our Tuesday get-together here on 94 WIP. Jody Mac rolling till 2 a.m. Sixers lead down to 11. They were up 20 in the first quarter. They now lead Golden State Warriors 39-28. Not quite midway through the second quarter yet. Yeah, I got an eye on that game for you. I watched the Flyers get beat tonight. I checked the box score that the Phillies got beat tonight. And the Eagles got a piece for the upcoming season. And I actually think it's a decent piece for the upcoming season. I just didn't know it was going to be as pricey a piece as it turned out to be. Here to talk all things Eagles with me for the next couple of minutes. You read them on PhillyBoys.com or on SportsIllustrated.com. And you know you should be listening to his Extending the Play podcast. John McMullen joins me here on 94 WIP. J-Mac, how you be? Good, Jody. How are you? Good. Don't you wish you were back a quarterback in the National Football League? These guys continue to get really nice checks, and I have no issues with Joe Flacco being the Eagle quarterback. I'm just surprised at how much it's costing the Eagles to get Flacco's services. Were you surprised?
No, a little bit supply and demand. I think San Francisco is in as well, so it's pushing up the price a little bit. And if you go back to last season when Joe was with the Jets, he was coming off a neck injury and had neck surgery, so there was a little bit of a concern about his health, and that's why he had to take a little bit less money. This time around, people kind of know he's ready to go, so I think that pumped up the price a little bit as well. But I agree with you as far as if you're going to go with what Jeffrey Lurie claimed, he wanted Jalen Hurts to be the quarterback. We should build around him. You don't want competition. I mean, this is a good backup quarterback. 36-year-old guy who knows how to play, has won a ton in the postseason as well. South Jersey, knows the area, loves the area. I think it's as good as you could hope for with those circumstances obviously stamped on it.
Okay. If you truly heard and believe that San Francisco was in play as a potential backup spot for Flacco, all right, then the agent did a good job of selling it that was the case. I still don't know that they needed to go as much as they did. And the incentives, and I know nobody knows what the incentives are. If you know, please tell us. But I'm assuming that hasn't. I haven't seen it anywhere, so I don't think it's leaked out yet. That could double the deal up to $7 million. I'm assuming they're pretty significant incentives, as in Jalen Hurts is going to have to go down with a significant injury that's going to keep him out of the lineup for a big chunk of the season.
Yeah, that's something typical you do with backup quarterbacks, especially veterans, and basically reward them if they have to play. So, yeah, I mean, it's $4 million in escalators and incentives. You have to play a heck of a lot of football. And if he does, if Jalen Hurts, God forbid, gets hurt early in the season, the Eagles aren't going to be concerned or worried about paying him that much money. So it's sort of a safety net player. The Eagles want to see what they have. If everything goes according to plan, you're never even going to see Joe Flacco on game days. So from the Eagles' perspective, veteran guys I mentioned started a lot of games in this league, won almost 100. I think he won 5 consecutive years winning a playoff game. At least one playoff game. That's the most impressive part of his resume to me. And remember, Jody, also, we talk about being young. This coaching staff is very young. So, maybe Brian Johnson, the quarterback's coach, Joe's 2 years older than he is. He can tap into him. Nick Sirianni's going to turn 40 in June, I believe. Shane Steichen's in his late 30s, so, an extra word in those meetings from a guy who's done it, I don't think it can hurt.
Nor do I. I was just wondering about the price. Here's the thing, tied to your last statement about him being a borderline assistant coach. No, he was none too pleased when the Ravens a couple of years ago pulled him out, put Lamar Jackson in. He was not ready to give up the torch. He went to Denver, where he started the season as a starter. Didn't go well, and I got a buddy who covers the Broncos that said, yeah, Flacco wasn't happy to be there. He wasn't having any of the, let me help the other guy out stuff. I did check with a buddy I know who covers the Jets, and he specifically told me because Flacco came in knowing full well he was the backup, that it was Sam Darnold's team, that he accepted the role and was better at it this year. That certainly is going to be his role here in Philadelphia. Do you think he's put that I'm not here to help another guy out attitude behind him?
Yeah, I do. I think you hit the nail on the head. I mean, remember, this guy started for over a decade in Baltimore. I mean, that was his job. He had played every single game from his rookie season. He was a starter week 1. He had an Eli Manning, sort of Iron Man streak going until he tore his ACL. Ultimately lasted 11 years before he finally handed over the baton midway through that last season to Lamar Jackson. So, I kind of understand that. And then when you go to Denver for 1 year again, as you mentioned, he went in as the starter. And then with the Jets last season, first time, he came in as the backup and had a different mindset. And I'm pretty sure the Eagles are going to make it very clear that he's coming here to be the backup. And I don't think you'll have any issues. But we'll see. I mean, it is something worth keeping an eye on. I do think you have to see it because it's a competitive sport. I just mentioned this guy's won a lot of football games, and maybe he comes in and says, you know what, I'm better than this kid. This is my home team. This is the team I rooted for when I was growing up. This should be my team. You at least have to put that in the back of your mind, but I think it's going to be clearly defined to him. I will say that.
Tom McMullen, PhillyVoice.com, Sports Illustrated, Extending the Play podcast, our guest here on 94 WIP. All right. When Carson Wentz was traded, NFL free agency kicked in, so a lot's transpired in the last couple of weeks. From the day Wentz was traded, the Eagles had opinions about quarterbacks who could be available to them in the future, be it either free agents and or potentially in the draft. Well, they filled the free agent role. That's now Joe Flacco in as the backup. Does Flacco signing increase the chances that the Eagles are going to take a quarterback with a first-round pick? Decrease the chances that they're going to take a quarterback with a first-round pick, or have no effect on that decision whatsoever?
I don't think it has much of an effect because I do believe Chris Mortensen report. I do believe that Jeffrey Lurie kind of put that mandate out there that we're not taking quarterback. We have to build around Jalen Hurts. So ultimately, I think Howie went into it, and they tried to do some damage control with his press conference at the start of the new league year, because I also didn't think that was a prudent way to go about it. You want other teams thinking you might take a quarterback because ultimately that could help you by teams trying to jump up in front of you. And who knows, Kyle Pitts, if that's the player you like, or Jamar Chase, they might fall because somebody jumps up to take a quarterback. So I think Howie had to do some damage control. I think he did. But yeah, I mean, you bring in Joe Flacco to be his backup. I still think, look, if Justin Fields is there, I'm taking him. Period. End of sentence. I don't think Trevor Lawrence is going to be there. I think that's pretty concrete. I don't think Zach Wilson is going to be there. So to me, it comes down to two guys, and that's Fields and Trey Lance, and it's always about evaluation. I can't. Just from the fact that it is the most important position, obviously, in football, arguably in sports. I mean, if you have a chance to get that kind of talent when you're that high in the draft, you better take it. But I don't think the Eagles are thinking that way right now.
Well, Lenny, you're the same level fan of Justin Fields that I am. That's the one guy I would take to if I were the Bird. But we've got still 6 weeks to go before the draft, and we'll have you on again, and we'll get more into how the first round is looking down the road with John McMullen. All right, other Eagle moves. They did get one free agent of some notoriety, not a Pro Bowl type player, but a solid starter in Anthony Harris, the former Vikings safety. $5 million number, right around what those type players are getting. Did lead the league in interceptions a couple of years ago and has some familiarity with guys on the Eagles coaching staff. They needed to get a safety. All the safeties who were out there via free agency, some got more money, some got less money. How do you think the Eagles fared with their choice of Anthony Harris as their new starting safety?
Yeah, I thought it was a good signing. I thought it was one of those phase 2 signings that the Eagles have to hit on. They have to make correct decisions. They have to make the right decisions. And I think they kind of lucked out on this one because, as you mentioned a couple of years ago, if you go back 2 seasons, Anthony Harris was one of the best safeties in the entire NFL. And if you look at the context of what happened in Minnesota, they lost Danielle Hunter, didn't play even one game. They lost in preseason to a season-ending herniated disc. Michael Pierce opted out for COVID. They lost Everson Griffin and Linval Joseph in free agency. They lost all 3 of their starting corners in free agency. Anthony Barr got hurt week 2. Eric Kendricks got hurt later in the season, but he missed over a month. I mean, that went from a top 5 defense to a bottom 5 defense, and basically all they had was Harrison Smith and Anthony Harris at safety. And when you have no pass rush, it doesn't matter who you are. You're not going to look good. And I'm surprised the rest of the NFL didn't put that context together. And I think the Eagles had a little bit of an advantage because Jonathan Gannon, as you mentioned, had Anthony in Minnesota, knows what he is as a player. I think the Eagles got a ball hawk. Now the problem is, Jody, he's 29 years old. So if he plays well and he goes back to what he was in 2018 and 2019 and is one of the best safeties in football, well, guess what? Then you got to pay him. Right. And he's 30. So, but that's for stuff down the line. I think for this season, he's a really good player. And Fletcher Cox is here, Brandon Graham. You know, the Eagles are going to have a pass rush. I think he's going to play very well for them.
So do I. I think that's the best thing Howie Roseman has done this offseason. We had a couple of guys sneak out of town. Not really sneak. They were told that the services were no longer needed. So they decided to take their act elsewhere. When Malik Jackson was cut, wasn't long before he signed on with the Cleveland Browns, a team that had a real nice season and an improved defense from the year before. The time that he spent here in Philadelphia was, of course, handicapped by a major injury his first year. Didn't have the breakout year that some people were thinking this past year. You think Malik Jackson's got anything left in the tank? Are we going to be talking a mid-season? Yeah, but look at what Malik Jackson's doing with the Browns.
I don't know. I don't know if we're going to be saying that, but I do think he's a good player. I think he played well last season for the Eagles. But obviously the Eagles signed Javon Hargrave, so he went from being a starter to being that third rotational guy. And obviously you can't make $10 million a year, which is what he would have made here. So I do think that, look, if you could have gotten him back for $4.5 million or something like that as the third rotational tackle, I think you're really good. But that was, it's difficult to do. You know how this league works, Jody. Players will take pay cuts because they have to, but they generally won't take pay cuts from their teams that they're with. They'll go other places. More of an ego thing than anything else, but he's a good player. He'll be a rotational player there as well, and I think that's where he is at this stage of his career. I don't know if he can play 80% of the snaps, but if he's 40, 45, I think he can play well for you.
Now, here's one that I know from Eagle fans, if this guy does anything, and that's Deshaun Jackson. Again, part due here in Philadelphia. Yes, he made big plays. Yes, he got behind defenses. And yes, he sits on the sideline most games because he's injured. Why would we think anything? If they got a fountain of youth out there out in L.A., his old hometown, that somehow he's going to be able to stay on the field with the Rams? If he does, he'll make some big plays. But what do you set the over-under in games played by Deshaun Jackson next year? I would go as low as 5. How about you?
Well, then he'd be way over if he hits 5 than what he's been the past 2 years with the Eagles. I just got a weird feeling. Nothing to back it up. I got a weird feeling he's going to play like 12, 13 games. And, Matthew Stafford's out there now. He can chuck it. So you're going to see some big plays. I think he's going to be excited to be home in Los Angeles. But yeah, you can't count. I will say you can't count on Deshaun Jackson. Eagles fans realize that. It's interesting. He had that quote early in his career where cheetahs don't stretch. Deshaun was a guy who wouldn't do sort of even a modicum of stuff to get himself ready when he was younger, and he'd just go run by people. The past couple of years, Jody, he's really tried. You see him out there stretching, you see him out there trying to get loose, and he had the sports hernia, obviously. And then, soft tissue injuries left and right. I don't see him being healthy long term at his age, but when he's out there, boy, he can still make plays. He's one of the best home run hitters in NFL history.
Yeah,
he's made as many big plays as Randy Moss. People don't realize that.
Right, 40-yard receptions or longer. He is number 1 all time in the history of the National Football League. That's a pretty good stat to be able to have in your column. All right, one more player who got out the door, and he confounded me as an Eagle. Duke Riley made some really nice plays. I'm like you, I got to watch every single Eagle game, go back, watch it on tape afterwards. And damn if Duke Riley didn't a couple times each of the last 2 years make an outstanding play. I go, we need to see more of that. But you don't. And then you see Duke Riley make a bad play and be way out of position or miss a tackle, and you realize this is why this guy isn't a full-time linebacker. They were never able to get that big play ingredient out of him often enough. Was it just kind of a happenstance when it happened? He really wasn't all that good? He just kind of lucked into good plays? Or was he not coached well enough? Did the former defensive coordinator's overall scheme not give linebackers the chance? Or am I making too big a deal out of Duke Riley?
A little bit. I mean, he was a premium pick in Atlanta, and they gave up on him. I do think, he's really athletic, and that's what it is. I mean, he can run, and that's why he flashes. And it's the other stuff, the instincts, and, to play that position, you got to have a feel, whether it's coverage, whether it's hitting your run gap, support. Just didn't have it from that perspective, but where it would flash is that he was just really athletic, and occasionally he made a play from that perspective, and that's why I think his main job has been and will continue to be in Miami as a special teams player, because he's a really good special teams player. But as far as being a 3-down linebacker, he's flamed out 2 cities. I don't even think he's going to get the opportunity to do that. But, I mean, there are worse things. It's underrated to be a really good special teams player in this league, because you can help. You saw it last year with the Eagles. One guy's not here, people aren't going to care, they aren't going to notice. But I think Rudy Ford was the best example of that, because he was in and out of the lineup last year with groin injuries, hamstring injuries. Played about half the season. When he was in there, the Eagles, you could not do anything against the Eagles punting game. He was one of the best gunners in football. Nobody notices. And when he was out, completely different. So those guys can have a big impact on football games, and that's sort of where Duke is going to be in this league.
We'll see if they get another special teams stud this offseason by hook or the draft. All right, 2 more quickies before I let you run. They got a safety. They lost the safety with the Green Goblin. They brought a replacement in. They've added nothing as far as cornerbacks go so far. The market is getting, let's say, light, although I think Adoree Jackson got way overpaid by the Giants, and I'll ask about them next. But you got any hints at cornerbacks the Eagles can get in their price range left that are still on the open market?
Well, I think the price range is going to be about Anthony Harris. That's what they're looking for. 1 year, 5, 6. That's what they wanted to pay Adoree Jackson. Maybe a little bit more because corners a higher paid position. Maybe they would have won to 7. But you're right, the Giants, I don't know who they were bidding against. I mean, there's a guy who got cut by Tennessee because they didn't want to pay him his $10 million option on his rookie deal. And the Giants gave him a raise. That never happened. So that was a weird signing, but understandable that the Eagles weren't in that financial ballpark. I thought Kevin King and Green Bay, I thought he might have been a fit, but he re-signed with Packers. And Steven Nelson got cut today by the Steelers. So, that's where they are. They're looking for guys who are willing to play on that 1-year proven deal. And they'll bring in somebody. They need an outside corner. So whether they do it in free agency, I think Jackson would have been a good fit, but not at that price. And if they don't do it in free agency, I mean, they're probably not going to do it at 6 overall. Then you start talking about 37. They almost have to go corner.
We'll see when the draft shakes out. We're not that far away. All right, last thing. I know you've been doing this for a while. Maybe not as long as me, but a while. Did you attend the draft when it was up in New York? And since it has been taken on the road last year to Roger Goodell's basement, but the years before that, out to varying locations across the country, including one year here in Philadelphia. Have you gone to the draft?
Are you serious?
They're planning on having it live in Cleveland this year. They're going forward with a live draft. Are you Cleveland bound? When was the last time you went to an NFL draft?
I was in Radio City every year. Loved it. Hate that they moved it out.
Yep, you and me both.
Wish it was back. Would be there every year. But no, I do not travel to the draft. Obviously, I was here in Philadelphia when it was here, but so I did go down there, but it's not, to be honest. New York was obviously very close, and really the first round, you have to be at the team facility anyway by the second round, by day 2, day 3. So you would only go out for that first day, the first round, and then come back, and it's not worth it. I understand why the NFL does it, though, and the fact that I've always argued in a lot of ways for the league, the draft is in some ways bigger than the Super Bowl from the perspective that every fan base is involved, right? All 32 instead of just 2 teams. So to put it like a mini Super Bowl and have it moving around, I get it from a business standpoint, but boy, I loved it when it was in New York. So that's
we loved it because it was easy. You could drive up there, take a train up there, be home in a couple hours.
Yeah, it was a great environment too, though. It was, the Jets fans always booing.
Yes.
It was a great environment, and I think it's missed a little bit.